today's goal and every day's goal should be just to get better. It can be 0.01%. And at the end of a year, you're 100% better. I did a bunch of different things from serving tables. I spent 10 years serving tables. I was the guy that could upsell any table from an Oriental chicken salad to a miso sake marinated sea bass. And then found direct sales. Did I spend a lot of time in direct sales, network marketing, built up a good sized team in that industry, and eventually got into software, where the software industry was something that I knew nothing about, but I could talk and sell sea bass. So apparently I should be in charge of a software company. Got to a point where we were doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in gross revenue. The problem is with any business, you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenses to run the business. For me, I came to a turning point where just wasn't ready to pull the trigger, self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs. Could I be in charge of my own income? But to bet on myself was a terrifying idea, because then I'm in charge of all of it. As a young man, I wasn't ready to do that. But at a turning point at the end of 2017, when I had my third child, you're holding your baby and you got 3 of them and you're like, all right, Dad, it's time to figure it out. And I'm just like, holy cow, is this real?
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Welcome to my base call. We have Grady Polcyn on today, one of our integrity partners. Grady has some big numbers. I mean, he did 107 million last year, so he helped a ton of families, and he's got over 1,000 agents writing for him. But before we get going with Grady, let's Factory, what do we got up and coming? I know you want to talk about convention.
Yes, sir. So as always, get plugged in, fflusa.com/connect. Let's see here. 6 days to go to annual convention. That is in Irving, Texas. Big event. Everybody should get there. How important is getting to convention, Grady?
Oh, it's of the utmost importance, right? If I told you that we're playing Scrabble, no, let's not do Scrabble. Let's do dice rolls, right? If I was telling you needed to roll 6s, and if you rolled enough 6s, you would be able to secure your family for the rest of your life. But if you showed up at a convention, we would give you dice with basically 6s on 5 sides. That's how good going to convention is. It's of the utmost importance, right? Everybody who's a top producer is going to be there. Everybody who's in the top agency manager is going to be there. And there's no guarantee that you'll become one of those, but everybody who is will be there. So it's of the utmost importance. We're truly trying to get to the next level in this business.
Awesome. Next up, we've got our
six-sided dice. 6 of my dice story. I'll come with a better analogy next time you ask.
Newest integrity partner, Toby. Let's give him a round. It was just announced when? Yesterday? Yesterday. Yeah, cool. And he just had a baby boy, right?
Congratulations, Toby.
Congratulations. Yeah.
All the way around.
All right, we've got our Ethos earn an extra $400 in cash. This is the first 50. This is still active, right? Yeah. First 50 agents to activate 4 or more Ethos IUL policies from January 15th to February 29th will receive $400. Let's see what we got here. Requirements: activate 4 Ethos IUL policies during the incentive period. Ensure the policies remain in force through the free look period. And this right here, what was this? This was the, this 2024? 2024 Mustang GT 4.0, 5.0, but this is the model that they are giving away right here. Do we know when they're going to give this out?
Yeah, they're giving it out convention. So they're going to announce that at convention.
Awesome. Okay, and then last up, we've got our quote of the day. I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse.
Very nice.
Let's rock and roll.
Cool. So I want to give a shout out to Orlando Castillon. He bought a $2.50 Ethos lead and sold 30. Well, he helped 4 families in one deal, so it was amazing. So I don't know if we're working all the leads that are in the ILC, but apparently some of the lower priced ones aren't getting enough attention. Grady, what did you buy when you were back in the day when you were in the field? What were you going after, and what do you tell your
But
agents?
I bought every lead I possibly could, right? The goal is to get more at bats, right? When I was brand new, or even any point, your goal is just more people to talk to, right? I came from an industry, network marketing, where you had to basically cultivate and create your own interest. You had to go find people, whether it was a proactive girl at the mall or it was a server or whether it was a friend, family, or coworker, someone who came to this business. And I realized you can just buy interested people. It changed my life, my whole kind of understanding on what's possible with business, and understanding that if you make enough per sale, right? If we make enough per sale at our 80, 90, 100% commission rates, that we can take a portion of that and reinvest it into more prospects, right? Just like any traditional business. And so, great job on your 250-cent lead. But when I first started, it was Facebook final expense leads. It was any aged mortgage I could get, aged final expense. We didn't have the internet, the internet reach that Andrew's helped create with the lead center. So just have so many opportunities now. It's really been a game changer for the company.
Yeah. So Grady, tell us about where you come from, what's your background, and then why insurance? Why FFL?
Oh, well, perfect. Well, first, thank you for having me on. Grateful for everybody that's shown up and here to get better, right? That's what the goal is. Today's goal and every day's goal should be just to get better, right? And it doesn't need to be 100%. It can be 1%. It can be 0.01%. And at the end of a year, you're 100% better. So I'll do my absolute best to give you value and help inspire some of that change. Myself, I did a bunch of different things from serving tables. I spent 10 years serving tables. I was the guy that could upsell any table from an Oriental chicken salad to a miso sake marinated sea bass because it would taste better. And Betty, you didn't come out to dinner and put that beautiful dress on and do your makeup tonight to have a salad. So let's enjoy a miso sake marinated sea bass together, and I'll make sure it's delicious. So honed my communication skills at the tables, and then found direct sales. Did I spend a lot of time in direct sales, network marketing, kind of the Amways, Herbalife, those type companies where you're trying to generate your own prospects continuously and recruiting anyone that can fog a mirror. And there's no access to leads, but built up a good sized team in that industry, and eventually got into software, where the software industry was something that I knew nothing about, but I could talk and sell sea bass. So apparently I should be in charge of a software company. But it worked out all right, and spent about 4 years doing that. Got to a point where we were doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in gross revenue. The problem is with any business, right, is that you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenses to run the business, and especially in the software situation. So for me, I came to a turning point where I'd reached out to Andrew Taylor, we all know, many times, and poked him forever, and just wasn't ready to pull the trigger. Self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs. Could I be in charge of my own income? Could I truly, because the money I was making with the software company wasn't great, but it was a check every week, right? And that check every week paid the rent and paid for the car payment and kept us moving forward. But to bet on myself was a terrifying idea, because then I'm in charge of all of it, right? All my failures, what we could do, or all of our successes. And I just, as a young man, I wasn't ready to do that. So Andrew courted me, for a few years, respectfully. Thank God he kept, being available to answer my quick questions whenever I got a glimpse of an idea. But at a turning point at the end of 2017, when I had my third child, and you're holding your baby and you got 3 of them, and you're like, all right, it's time, Dad, it's time to figure it out, right? Because the money we were making the software company wasn't enough to really accomplish the goals that I'd had for myself, or for our family. It wasn't gonna create that lifestyle that I dreamed as a young man. And when you're courting your wife and you're planning for the future, I wasn't able to do it. And so Andrew put me in a Facebook group, and I'm seeing all these guys put up 5-10 families a day, or 5-10 families a week, and 20, 30, 40 families a month. And I'm just like, holy cow, is this real? And I was like, honey, what if we just do 10%? Like, if I did 10% of these 30 family a month producers, that's what we're making now. And if I'm like, I hope we can do 10%. And so I took the leap of faith in early 2018, and ended the year, my first year, over 250, and second year over 5. And it's only gotten better from there, guys. And, to bet on yourself is a terrifying thing. It's scary to dial the phone the first time. It's scary to buy leads the first time. I feel all of that. I've been through it all. I've experienced it so many times, but the reality is that if you bet on yourself, the the upside is unlimited, right? It's uncapped. And that's where this insurance opportunity really separates us from so many other opportunities that are out there, because it puts us in a place where we can control our destiny. And many people aren't ready to control their destiny. They need, stability. And I totally respect that. But, I had 3 kids, and, the business started doing well, and the best salesman in the house sleeps next to me at night, and we have 4 now. So it's that's so it ended out better, but that's how I got started. And inside of that first year, Andrew told me, you're pretty good at this selling insurance thing. I don't know if he says it to everybody, and he probably does, but he's like, you should try recruiting a few people. And I was like, why would I want to recruit people? I'm doing so well financially. Selling, why would I want to entertain that? And he said, well, I made 400 last year selling, and I made 600 last year in overrides off my agency. And when I picked my job off the floor, I said, okay, I guess I could introduce this to a few people. Might as well give that a go. And so fast forward, just started talking to people, spent every waking moment I could selling, and every sleeping moment talking to people about the opportunity, what I've been able to do. And I'd help them if they were interested, and be there for them to guide them if they wanted to take my coaching, and sold as hard as I could, because no one respects you if you're not on the leaderboard, and you get unlimited respect if you're at the top of the leaderboard. So for all the years I was in the field, I was the #1 producer on my team, probably 99 or 98 out of 100 times. Someone might have popped an annuity here or there, but I really enjoyed every part of this business, and did everything in my power to lead by example, so that when I gave advice, people would trust me. And people trust your numbers. And so fast forward, we built an incredible team, but had fortunate to have recruited some incredible people that are so far more skilled than myself, and continue to grow the business. And we see the numbers that we've been able to accomplish so far. I can't wait to see what the next few years have in store.
So when you start, so Andrew's like, hey, this is what I did, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is I got to do this immediately. So how do you do that though? I mean, you're putting in, how many hours were you putting in the field? And then when you turned on the recruiting, because how many people do you have under you, Grady?
We have over 1,000 producing agents now,
so
active every month. So
and when did you turn that? When did you start recruiting? What year was that?
2018. Probably my 4th or 5th month, 3rd month, maybe. I think my 1st month I got Andrew on the phone with some guy that I talked to, who was like selling direct TV at Walmart. And I was like, hey man, I started this insurance thing. If you're looking for additional this is the classic line. Are you looking for any other part-time income or any additional streams of income? And he was like, what do you got? And I was like, I just started selling insurance. It's going pretty well. Give me your number. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, hey, Andrew, will you talk to this guy? So Andrew gets on the phone. He's like, hey, it's hard, but you can make a lot of money. I got to go. And I got off the phone, and I was like, so he's got the biggest agency of anyone that I've ever heard of. And if it's that simple, and so you start to understand it's just more of a volume X game. And I want and will desire inside of every potential person I talk to. But in the end, it's their decision. If they're going to put forth the effort, they're going to have to decide if they want the late nights and the early mornings and 285 no's on a dial day to get those 15 yeses that they want to have an appointment. And so I started in 2018, and we hit VP within 5 months. And a lot of it, Jimmy, I'd say was predicated on my production, because I was so production focused that I didn't have enough time to spend hours on the phone to recruit. It was 5, 7, 8, 9 minutes with someone who's unlicensed, 10 to 15 minutes with someone that was licensed, explaining to them how our comp was better and our lead accessibility and our great training. And then I'd say, this is my numbers. And I'd put them on an email drip list, and I would drip on them for forever until they unsubscribed or they replied back, said, I'm ready to get started. And that really was a big cornerstone of our growth, was that I just would take every prospect and continue to drip on them, because a lot of people, it's always timing. Like for me, I got started in 2018 with Andrew, but I think we met in like 2012 maybe at NAA, and he didn't even know me, but I saw this like young guy with like a glasses who and a haircut that I was like, he got up in front of this room back then, and he said he's making 6 figures and had 25 agents. And I was like, what? This insurance thing? And then I went off into software, but I kept like that stuck in my head for years, like a little bomb just stuck. That got lodged in like an old bomb, World War II bomb that someone steps on now, sadly. But that World War II bomb was Andrew Taylor just telling me that what he'd done. And I was like, okay, so I kept going and hit him up in 2016 and then like 2017. And finally, like, when Cameron was born, I'm like, I got it. This guy, hey, are you still doing insurance? Yeah, you know, okay, I'm ready. And he was like, oh, well, I've heard that before. Right. And so I got in, and I think in my second month, I had my first like 7 family week. And I like called him crying. And I was like, this is incredible. It changed my life. And I was like freaking out because it's incredible. Like to get that level of income from doing it. He was like, dude, it's just another day at the office. Keep going. And I was like, okay. And he's always just so even keel and dry and straightforward that he's always can kind of like level you out real good, no matter too high or too low. But for me, this is it's changed my life. It's changed my family's life, and we've been fortunate to meet so many other people that it's changed theirs.
So you're really good at marketing. Everyone talks about you're a really good manager. Where did you learn your marketing skills?
I think I've done a good job of surveying the landscape, right? So insurance as an industry is an antiquated, older, outdated, fat salesman kind of, braided leather belt guy who kind of comes across that's, sloppy, right? And I think I've tried to do my best to emulate other fun sales opportunities and not that I know or anything. I marketed things that would excite me, right? Like I would tell stories about clients, and I'd tell stories about agents and things that would help me move. And I reflect back those 4 years where I had that software company. I didn't make a lot, but I learned a lot about landing pages and email marketing and text marketing and social media and communication tools. And emails dead or whatever it be, people still open their emails every single day. And so if you can get their inbox and go communicate them what you've done for the past 7 days, or and say, hey, name, protected 3 families today from a batch of leads that I ordered out of our lead center. Hope you're doing well. When you're ready to get started, shoot me an email. Hey, name, had a protected 13 families this week. Business is incredible. If you're still looking for an opportunity, reach out to me. Hey, and I just would constantly pepper people and see what responses would come, because I know they responded to an ad, or I had a conversation with them, or they showed ambition at some point. And, if you want, successful people are always looking for more ways to become more successful, right? If you want something done, give it to a busy person, right? People with discipline, drive, and desire are always looking for an avenue where they can use that within them and go apply it. And we all believe we're an insurance that satisfies that, right? If we got on this call and the top person was making 62 grand a year, nothing wrong with 62 grand a year, but it's not 620, right? It's not what people do here. I mean, there's going to be 500 plus people, Hall of Fame producers at the Hall of Fame dinner. And that's crazy, right? And that's what FFL has created, and this opportunity is created. So when you see that the ladder is that high, right? When I don't have to go to Harvard, or I don't have to have my dad doesn't have to have a big company for me to move. I don't have to have these cheat codes of life. I can just work for it. I think that allows us to really flourish. And so for myself, I take all those mindsets and I try to share it with people, and ambitious people gravitate toward it, right? I've got 50, 60,000 people on my email list and 1,000 agents, right? So 59,000 people have said, I'm not ready for change right now. That's okay. 59,000 people have led me to a great, incredible 1,000, right? So I just always kept putting hooks in the water and then kept dripping on them with positivity. And that's how I procured a bunch of great agents. But then from that standpoint, the opportunity at FFL is so great with our lead availability and crazy high comp, and then great training that we just give away all for free. It really creates no barriers to entry. So just find ambitious people, find motivated people, and allow them to flourish in our environment has been a, kind of a cornerstone to what I've been able to do in marketing. But it's just kind of telling stories and sharing the truth, right? And that might be the easiest thing. I just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. And real people really like that.
So do you do more emails and texts? Because I always when we were to get the word out, so I come from corporate America, and always tell my marketing people, no one looks at an email unless they're at work, and it could take 3 days for them to open their email. But if I send you a text and your phone dings right now, you're gonna look down from the screen if I sent you a text. So
I'll
what do
try
you?
not to, but yeah,
No, but
yeah.
what I'm saying
Whatever.
is
Yeah.
do you also do text as well, or because of the way people have changed, or do you stick to your guns with the email, the drip that you're doing with the email?
Well, I'm heavily into text, but the laws of text have changed to where in the past
Mm.
we could text blast people that so the laws are they have to request information, right? So if they've requested information, now they've given me permission when they hit submit with their phone number, email, that I can communicate with them, right? And so that's where email is so valuable. Now it's also valuable in text, but I use text more now for internal, like with agents. We've got thousands of people, agents and people that have quit or not quit or on the fence, got contracted, got in class, didn't do anything. We put them all on a text list because they've requested more information. So now I continue to communicate with them, but that's more for like, lead coupons or training call starting, get registered for convention, training call recording, watch this. Here's a great new script. I use that more for like internal communication because sometimes a lot of the agents will tune out the Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp or GroupMe channels. And I still know that even though if I've got their number, there's right until they start selling, they're still a prospect, right? Until they start selling, their heart isn't over the bar, right? You don't win their heart till they really get that first deposit. And even then, so doubt sets in. I spent $400 and I only made $1,000 sale. I only closed one person. But like all of a sudden you get people that don't have a lot of money coming in that are like financial wizards on ROI, and I'm like, that's still $600 you made from you got 100 leads and you converted one. All right, well, work through the rest of the 99 and then take that 600 and go buy more leads. Like this is a skill-based business, and that's always a communication thing that's tough to deliver to people that have not had skill-based jobs. They're more task-oriented based jobs. I show up at a job, I do a task, I get done with the task, I go home, I watch, TV, right? And so when you're trying to convert those type people, and a lot don't want to do it, right? That's why we've had hundreds of thousands of people come through FFL, and as a company, we've got 20, 40,000 producing agents. Just people have a desire for change, but they don't continue to act on it each and every day, each and every week, and each and every month, and each and every year to complete that big goal. And that's a plague of society, but it's also society. And so as Jim Rohn would say, I can't change them, so I'll just go find more people, right? That's been a really big cornerstone to our growth, is focusing on just finding the ones that want to do it versus trying to make them want to do it.
So are you picky with your recruits, or do you just
highly you have to be, because it's your time, right?
Yeah.
You've got a family, you've got stuff, you've got other stuff you want to do. And I love the business. I love working on this business for hours and out, days at a time, right? But the reality is that our really big cornerstone now is like, if you don't have $1,000 to start for leads, then you come back when you do, because this is a business. We're going to give you a high compensation rate. We're going to train you. We're going to do contracting. We're going to get you in class. We're going to spend time with you. We're going to put you on dial teams. We're going to get you trainings. We're going to communicate with you tons of times, right? And so if I go through all these 12, 15, 50, 100 communications back and forth, but you have no money to start the business, then like
get a job.
Get it. Yeah. I mean, so there's like a good line from a guy named Nathan Ricks, and he's built a huge business in direct sales. He says, I'm looking for people with contacts, resources, and credibility, right? Contacts is, and so for his aspect, that's when they didn't have leads, but contacts is you have a network of people that like, trust, and respect you, right? You're not 42 sleeping on your mom's couch, right? No disrespect to that guy as a human, but as an ambitious person, he lacks. Right. So contacts, resources is capital. Do I have money in order to get started in this business? Right. If we've all heard the great story. If I had a Ferrari for sale for $10,000, you'd come up with it. You'd have 2 hours, you'd come up with $10,000, right? Or whatever. So you're looking though for people that already have those things, contacts, resources, and then credibility, which means they have trust in their network. And, not everybody, I'm not going to get that deep on an initial call. I'm going to find out, are they licensed, not licensed? What are they currently doing? I really like people, honestly, that have children, and not to begrudge any of you bachelors or bachelorettes, but when you've got someone that you're responsible for, you're going to push past the pain point of this business and not just go, I don't feel like it today, because it's all on you, right? When it's all on you, then you can decide at any point that I don't want to do it. Now, granted, I've got many successful single people with no kids. And so, but I'm just, if I was to cornerstone someone, I want someone that has pressure. Because for me, until I had the pressure of a third child, I wasn't ready to push through the pain at which this business it gives you, right? And it's not physical pain. We're not, we don't blisters on our hands, and we're not wearing work boots with holes in them. But we're dialing the phone and getting repetitive rejection. And until you have thick enough skin or someone you're pushing through past that point, that's someone. Now, granted, if they're like, I don't know, I'm a bachelor and I want to make more money, and I want to take care of my mom, or like I want someone that has something they're working for. I don't want someone that wants to make $3,000 to, get a nicer apartment, personally, because they just don't have enough to push them through the pain, to really dial down and memorize the scripts and drill down and suffer. And when you have someone that either has a family, or a family they're trying to support, or they've come from hard times, like seeing someone single that's got a bad relationship, I want to build a life for myself that I never need to rely on anyone again, right? I'm just looking for someone that's got something more so than, I'm just floating through life, and this seems something I could float into. I'm way too busy for floaters, right? You're too busy for floaters too.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when I was a director of operations, I would not hire somebody that came in and was a plain Jane. I call them plain Janes. I wanted to see a Gucci purse. I wanted to see your nails done. I wanted to know that you had a mortgage to pay, or you wanted to buy a new. What was going to drive them? That was going to show up every day and work overtime, work 7 days a week.
Yep.
Because if I thought you were a trust baby, if I thought you were spoiled and dialed and you had everything, I didn't hire you, because there was no drive in you.
Correct.
I only hired people with drive. So how do you get people to convention? So we're talking about convention, and it's 6 days away. I think it's super important. I don't think I would have got to the level I got to if I didn't come to the office every day, if I didn't go to the lock-ins, if I didn't go to the conferences, if I didn't go to convention. Because I'm around these people that are, just like you said, they're top producers. You can pick their brain. You get to hear what they say. You get to see what they do. And it's only made me better. And there's a lot of people on this call, or maybe there's nobody on this call, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I asked in the chat how many are going, and there's 6 of us. And it's kind of like, okay, if you're taking this business serious, I think you need to take convention serious. So how do you motivate? Is it peer pressure? How do you do it, Grady?
Peer pressure might be an aspect. I more so try to sell them mentally on advancing faster. And I go a few different ways. If they really want it, right? I don't want to say they should already register, because they just don't understand the intentionality of it. Like, I came from industries where they had conventions, and I knew how important they were, just from the camaraderie and getting around, and all those things sound nice, but it's the high level of education that advances you so much faster, right? When you're in an environment where, if you started this business and you've started dialing and you're struggling, you've made a couple sales and you want to make more, but you don't know where to go, there's going to be thousands of people going through that same thing. There's going to be thousands of people that have already surpassed that level, hundreds of them that are excelling at an elite level, and 100 or so that are at a Avenger level, or at a godlike level, said with respect, not to create any sort of false deities here, but to say, in the sense that, like, to have that ability to go, hey, you've got a red jacket on, I keep struggling with X or Y or Z objection. Could you give me what you would say in that scenario? They're going to go, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, this is what I say. And in 2 minutes, you've gotten the absolute most perfect response. Hey, I'm brand new. I've spent X or Y on leads. What is your favorite lead type or lead source, for someone in my situation? Boom, answer it. And coming to convention with a list of 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 questions, and then going asking 5, 10 people. You're now there's no boot camp. There's no one-on-one training. There's no lock-in where you're going to get access to that level of people. And there's so much truth in like paying for coaching, right? Like, I watched this video recently about a guy who was talking about paying for coaching and how fast it can advance your education. Now, at FFL, we don't charge for training. We don't charge for our boot camps. We don't charge for the conventions. And so the only payment is your plane ticket, right? Or your gas in the car, or your hotel room. But people who don't have a lot, are so afraid of spending because they're afraid of risk and they're afraid of losing that investment, right? But it has to come back before that. Do I believe in myself and being able to figure this out? And if you believe in yourself and you figure this out, the money's going to come back 10, 100, 1,000-fold if you invest it. But you can't get the answers if you don't show up. We don't stream it. And it's like, the old adage, it's like a haircut. You got to show up for it to make a difference, right? I think I screwed that up, but so convention, like, and I always try to say this line is like, there's no guarantee attending convention will make you successful, but I guarantee you every successful person at FFL will be at convention. And so to put yourself in that understanding, like if every successful person is going to be there, I should be there because I want to be able to, and it's not like for pictures, it's not for hugs, it's not to like say, hey, Steve Giordano, you're so good. It's, hey, Steve, I keep getting this objection, or can you listen to my phone script for 30 seconds and tell me what you would critique, right? Every single top person, if you ask them, they're all nice. Like that's the thing about most successful people in life. They're actually really nice people. You don't get to the top of anything without actually being a pretty decent person. And so if getting the answers and advancing your business 3, 6, 9, 12 months, like with, rocket fuel, is something that excites you, you should be there without question. And because money can't be the issue, because like we said already, if I could give you a $1 million plot of land for $3,000 and you could literally sell it next year you got to hold it for a year, but you could sell it next year for $1 million. Every single person on this call will come with $3,000, and going to convention will probably be less than that because plane flights are pretty cheap these days. You can stay at the Holiday Inn for $149. I bet a lot of people on here would share rooms with each other, but you can't get better if you don't show up. And if you want the next two years to look like the last 2 years, don't come. If you want the next 2 years to look completely different than the last 2 years, you got to be there.
I love that. I love that. So are there anybody who wants to ask Grady a question since we got him on the phone before we wrap this? Because I know I would want to ask Grady a ton of questions because he is a very powerful person in FFL. So if anyone wants to ask him a question, let's see.
Well, cheers to Heather and to Winkmeister. That is the coolest name ever. And to Kendrisha for all being registered and going. Winkmeister.
Love that. Winkmeister. That's awesome.
Looks like we've got Timothy Dawson's asking just details on the drip service or software that you might be using, Grady.
Great, Timothy, I'm actually going to cover that at convention. That's my speech is marketing 101. But
Great.
The service I use.
So get there, Timmy.
Yeah, we'll get it all. I got a whole thing at convention. I'll go through in more detail.
That's beautiful. Timothy's actually on my team. He'll be going to convention. So what we did was we just got an Airbnb. A few of us are going to stay together. That way we can just be kind of like a little club and rented a car. And I don't even think I'm paying. I was going to get my own room and it was going to be $800 for the room. Now I think I'm all in for under $700 without gas and food. So it's affordable. Spirit Airlines, it was like $139 with my bag checked. So it's very affordable. Well, Grady, I appreciate your time. We thank you for your service. We think the world of you. I can't wait to see you at convention. I'll see you guys on the other side. Have a great week. If you can get there, let's get there, and let's help some families this week.
Hey, man, appreciate you too. And guys, you got it. Talk soon.
Thank you, buddy. Bye.